Hey everybody, Josh down here at Advantage One today. We have ourselves a very nice locally owned Roadtrek. Most recent owners had it since about 2014. About 120 rounds on her, 120,000 miles, technically just shy of that here. They just did some run around traveling trips, exactly what this is for, a road tripper. The gentleman of the household was bigger than me, so it was primarily the lady of the house running around, and they finally decided they had the time, like lives change, work change, they had the time to camp more together. So they are swapping into something a little larger and leaving this baby behind for the next person. And they are not leaving behind any problems. This has been very well kept. This thing is mobile. It is agile. It is versatile. Oh God, we're right by the road. That was probably a really bad idea. God, I feel like such a jerk. You know, like when you think you see somebody at the store that you know, so you're like yelling at them and they're not responding, and then you find out it's not the person you thought it was that you're yelling at. That's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like an absolute, just complete idiot. Really should have thought. I looked at the viewfinder and I see a car going by. I'm like, oh God, I'm honking at cars. And they think I'm being an idiot, because I am. Anyway. So, apologies to previous owners. My footprints are the only footprints in here. There's not even like a thumbprint on the mirrors or the microwave or anything. This is in immensely good shape. And one of the areas that I actually look to check on stuff like that is up here, like the screen on that vent fan right there. I know this RV's been used a bunch. It's got 120,000 miles. It's been used, but like everything fired right up. I've got the generator running right now. You totally can't even hear that thing over top of me. All of our monitor panels and everything are right up here. 100 and we'll say 19 hours for the sake of argument right now. That thing fired up in a flash. Previous owner spent $1,400 going through all the mechanical systems of this RV before they brought it here for sale to make sure everything was in top working order. That's awesome. And, listen, you know how I say all the time, I'm not smart. I had a heck of a time finding the battery disconnect switch. And I see a sign up here that says battery disconnect switch, but I'm like, I'm not going to read further than that. And then as soon as I do, it says battery disconnect switch on the monitor panel. It literally just says battery right there, but I'm too much of a pig-headed idiot to pay attention to it, so I wasted 5 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back. But hey, now you can learn from my mistakes, and what else is an uncle for? Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? So we're on a Chevy van chassis right here, and although a little simple up front, I always get a little weirded out by some of the more modern vehicles with these like fighter jet cockpit areas and some of these things that they have. You know what I mean, right? Like some of these vehicles nowadays and chassis have a literal like touchscreen computer in the front of them over here. And I don't know that I need all of that jazz distracting me from the road, considering I already forget the fact that I'm honking at people on the roadside over here like a minute ago. That never happened anyway. No proof of that. No evidence exists on the internet until death do us part. Never mind. I like the simplicity of this. If I want a GPS, I'll just set my phone up here. I'll GPS with that, have a little phone mount or something like that. That's all I need. There's some great RV GPS apps out there, like Togo seems to be a pretty popular one here all of a sudden. Which is actually kind of cool, because if you're not familiar with that, there are specific RV GPS apps that you can program in the length, the height, and everything, the width of your RV, so it'll help navigate you, so you don't end up on that like 11'8" low bridge channel, although it's like, what is it? It's like 12'6" now or something like that. They raised it a little bit, didn't they? So from the driver's seat, flipping around, again, what really impressed me here was just the way that like it is not showing heavy wear, heavy use. I'm going to try to slowly shift to the other. Oh my God. My leg's cramping. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Remind me never to try that maneuver again. Oh my Lord, that hurt. Anyway, you figure the driver's seat here is one that without a doubt gets the most use, right? You can see how it's not worn down, torn up. 120,000 miles. You see how the steering wheel doesn't have a spot worn in it from someone's hand resting there the entire time. I mean, this is fantastic. Everything I'm seeing here is just exactly what you want to see. Now, anytime you're looking at something this small, they have to start getting crafty and creative with the spaces. But I tell you what, Roadtrek knows what they're doing. I know that some of these little cubbies and compartments aren't exactly the world's largest you've ever seen, but the utilization of space in here is just fantastic. Like that under the cabinet mounted coffee maker right there. And I was like, wonder where the coffee pot is. Then I got over to the microwave. I'm like, oh, there it is. And the folks had a nice little shaped chunk of styrofoam there, so it's not rattle trapping down the road. The stovetop cover on this is brilliant. It actually slides out right there, which from the rear sofa, or in its current configuration, bed space, you know, you could use that like a side stand, which, you know, kind of handy. Nice little place to set a drink. Not to mention when you're cooking, I mean, when is more flat prep space ever the wrong answer? Because I'm not sure there ever is. Now, as we work our way back here, we saw the big vent fan above our heads a minute ago. This right here is the Cool Cat. This is, so you guys know what an air conditioner is, like that sits in the window, you know, like a side mount air conditioner, right? It's basically that, except you can use it either as a heater or an air conditioner. It's a bi-directional heat pump. It's exactly the same thing that comes in a Rockwood A-frame pop-up camper that maybe you might have seen in some of our other videos. And when I opened this cabinet up, a fly popped out. This RV has been here for a couple days. I don't know how the fly survived. There's no food in here. There's nothing for him to eat. No wonder he's freaking out. He's although it's freezing outside right now. Go ahead, fly. Go ahead, get out of here. Now, you've got a couple different table options here that can mount between the 4 chairs in the front of this. That's actually one of the cool things here is you can sort of use the chairs, you know, that you're riding in going down the road and repurpose them into a dining arrangement. You can do some similar things back here. Like I said, right now, this is in the down sleeper position. What's really kind of cool about this, though, is it's actually like a rear seat. It's a rear bench seat from like a van, effectively. But it power folds up and down, so you don't really have to wrestle with stuff to convert it from a bed to a sofa. Now, there is a little conversion plank that goes across the Never Neverland gap right here, basically. That you can stow away in that little side cabinet. You could slide it under the seats. You could do whatever. And now there's a bunch of extra little cushions. You can also lay all of those down if you wanted to create like a little, you know, staring contest station back here if you are so inclined. I probably wouldn't worry about it. I'd probably do exactly what we've done right here and just get them pulled out of the way if that was my goal. Now just notice though that this rear lounge space, it does double as your entertainment. So on a rainy day, you just kind of lay yourself down across the rear bench right here. You can catch up on The Young and the Restless, which is what my babysitter used to always make me watch because I hated it. And she'd made me sit there on the sofa and watch it. And I hated it, so I'd fall asleep because I wasn't interested in it, because it wasn't G.I. Joe or Inspector Gadget, which, by the way, I found out. I tried to go back and watch an old episode of Inspector Gadget with my daughter, and there's certain things from your childhood that you should just leave as a memory. By the way, that TV pivots, so you don't have to only be laying down. I'm sure you figured it out, but there you go. Now, normally I just try to walk you all around this thing, but as you can see, we are stuffed over in the corner of the property here, and there's a bunch of stuff parked behind it, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Although, I did kind of joke, and I was like, hey, boss, you dummy, which is exactly what I said. That's actually literally true. Said, hey, you dummy, you're supposed to have the barbed wire the other way to keep the customers inside, not out. And he advised me that if I wanted to keep my job, it would be wise for me to vacate the premises and go back to work. What I'm getting at is I'm not going to be able to make a full 360 no-scope around this baby, but overall I think we can still get the job done. I am incredibly impressed. When I start hearing this kind of mileage on something, I'm expecting some rough looks, some weathering, especially on the front, because when you're going down the road at highway speeds, it's like sandpaper on the outside of this thing the whole time. It looks phenomenal. The tires look amazing. Again, previous owner just spent like $1,400 on various mechanical things to make sure it's all in great working order. The only 2 glitches I found on the outside is the row in Roadtrek is no longer with us, and This right here, just in front of the rear tires, that is a slide-out tray for the batteries. It's basically like a heavy-duty drawer mechanism, like a filing cabinet. And evidently enough moisture and things have gotten in that over the years. The roller glides themselves, these things in the battery compartment, have just kind of corroded a little bit. And I nearly dropped the batteries in the tray on the ground. Thankfully, caught it at the last second, managed to get it in there. The door is locked. They're not going to fly out and go flying down the road and kill somebody, you know, behind you when you're traveling. But that's the only hitch in the giddy-up I've found on this thing. It is otherwise just absolutely phenomenal shape. And really one of the only other points of consideration you have out here is if you want to open that left-hand rear door, you do need to pull the grenade pin basically on that spare tire carrier to allow that spare tire to drop down and get out of the way so you can open those doors, which is sometimes kind of handy for cargo depending on what you're doing with it. Speaking of which, limited cargo space on the outside here. You saw the one baggage door on the other side. This is going to be kind of like your hookups right there, your hookups drawer. And this is really the biggest single bulk of outside storage this one has. It has like a little slide open chest, which is kind of cool. So when you're ready to get your motor running and head out on the highway, give us here a call and come out our Advantage way. I don't know what I was going for. I don't know if I found anything, but I'm okay with where we're at. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.